Welcome to TaleSpire Player Tips Beta Edition. As you can see, I am working with a pre-beta, so things may be slightly different from what you're working with, but this should still be enough to get you started. We'll start with the basics. Here at the bottom you can see my Steam username. This does get broadcast throughout TaleSpire, so if you wish to change it, simply change it on Steam. We click Begin, and we are presented with a list of campaigns we are part of, and the changelog that Devs will push to as things get updated. We also have a Join Campaign section here at the bottom. We can simply enter a join ID that a GM has sent us, click Join, and we'll be whisked away to a land of adventure. Since we've already joined the campaign in question, we simply click it in the list and click Play. We will be loaded onto an empty board. This is because the GM of this particular campaign has not set up a default board for us to load into, so we have to go to whichever board they tell us ourselves. We click Space, and we can click the Boards icon here in the corner. This gives us a list of all the boards in the campaign. The GM cannot hide any of these from us, but we may not have vision if we don't have a miniature set up there. So they tell us to load the player tips, we click Play, and we are whisked away to the board. Once here, you can see we don't have anything. We see a room. Okay. We can hit WAS and D to move our camera around. We can hold right click to move our camera around. We can scroll in and out with the mouse wheel. We can middle click the mouse wheel to rotate around. That's great, but there's nothing to do. The GM has to assign us a miniature before we have any real vision or actions we can take. So they do so, and we see Mr. Adventure. He'll be helping us with this tutorial today. We can click him to pick him up and hold, and just move him around to wherever we want. As you can see, this is not tied to the grid in any way. If you want to tie yourself to the grid, simply hold Shift and then use your arrow keys to move around. This is great for tactical situations. You can also hold Alt, click and drag in order to rotate your miniature around. This is great for a little extra immersion during those RP situations. If for some odd reason you're taking your camera way off and don't exactly know where your miniature is anymore, you can simply click the box up here in the corner of the miniature you control to be taken back to them. So let's go ahead and get up to this door, and then we'll interact with it. You can right-click to interact with things, or ask to open it. Notice we're asking. The GM has to actually explicitly give us permission to open the door, and maybe this door is barred, so he says, no, I need you to make a strength check. So he clicks Space to get up our interface, and we are presented with dice we can roll. We can simply click any number of dice in order to add them to the dice tray, and we can right-click dice to remove them from the tray. Once dice are in the tray, we can click them and drag them from the tray to bring them to our hand. Simply let go, and they will be rolled. A 19. I think that's enough. The DM allows us to open the door, and we can see nothing. Once again, early beta, there is no fog of war, so the GM has to explicitly go into and display the hide volume that is hidden. And we can now see yet another door. We go forward, up the stairs, and ask to open this door. This one's no problem as it's not locked. The GM unveils the next section. We take our first steps in, and we see a skeleton! Oh no! The GM then enters cutscene mode and sends us a shot, describing how the skeleton is wielding a broadsword, has a shield at the ready, and is looking at us, sockets gazing with malice. And then combat begins. He relinquishes cutscene mode and enters initiative mode. This is a mode that the GM has set up that allows them to set up an initiative order and only move when it's our turn. In this manner, combat can flow a little more easily for some games, and kind of has a more rigid order. We'll go ahead and continue on in exploration mode, and I'll just show you a little few fun things. For instance, one of the things you can do is, as you walk, your mini will recalculate line of sight. Bam! We see there was actually a surprise behind the corner. How terrifying. And maybe there's too many enemies, and you don't know which one you're attacking for the GM. There are multiple ways you can help your GM in this manner. You can right-click a miniature and tell your miniature to attack it. It will then come up with a prompt in which the GM can approve or deny it. Your GM might ask for a roll, or they may just allow the attack to happen. Clicking plus plays a little animation where our miniature attacks the other. You can also hold tab. Holding tab will show you the name of all miniatures visible. This is very handy. So, we'll go ahead now and move on into the next area. Clicking open, once again, the GM allows us to open the door and toggles the visibility of the next section. Well, this is a conundrum. I can't quite see where my miniature is anymore. Well, this is where this slider here on the side comes into play. I like to call this the cutoff diamond. I do not know the official term for it. So we scroll it down to where our miniature is, and as you can see, things begin to cut away. This is very handy whenever you're dealing with multi-story things, in which you may not be able to see quite where you're at anymore. You can also double-click to kind of bring yourself into focus on a specific area. This will automatically snap the cutoff diamond, but may not be accurate at all times, so it's still good to slide it around until you get where you need to be. And there we have it, a lot of the basic controls and what they mean for you. The last thing I want to go over is the fact that you can see your session history here on the side. Every single roll you make will be broadcasted here, along with each individual die result and the total of the math. I think that about covers everything. Please, feel free to ask any questions on the Discord or in the comments below. Thank you, and have a nice day.